High above the clouds, cradled by the mighty peaks of the Himalayas, lies a land of wonder and mystery, Tibet. Known as the roof of the world, this sacred region is not just a geographical marvel, but a profound spiritual sanctuary that has inspired awe and reverence for centuries. Tibet is more than its breathtaking landscapes. It is a realm deeply intertwined with the teachings of Buddhism, a place where faith and nature come together in perfect harmony. But how did this extraordinary civilization come to be? What ancient truths lie beneath its prayer flags, fluttering in the wind, its majestic monasteries, and its enigmatic scriptures? To uncover the origins of Tibetan history is to embark on a journey that transcends time and space, reaching into the very soul of a culture that has left an indelible mark on humanity. Let us travel back to the dawn of Tibetan civilization, a time shrouded in myth and legend. Early Tibetan texts speak of a sacred connection to the heavens, with stories of divine kings descending from the skies to guide their people. These kings, known as the Yarlung Dynasty, are said to have established Tibet's first unified kingdom, laying the foundation for a culture rooted in spiritual wisdom and resilience. Tibetan Buddhism, which flourished centuries later, became the heartbeat of this civilization. The arrival of Guru Rinpoche, or Padmasambhava, in the 8th century marked a pivotal moment in Tibet's spiritual awakening. His teachings, blending ancient Bon traditions with the profound philosophies of Buddhism, transformed the region into a cradle of enlightenment. Monasteries like Jokhang and Potala Palace became not only architectural marvels, but also repositories of sacred knowledge, where countless monks dedicated their lives to the pursuit of wisdom and compassion. Yet Tibetan history is not without its challenges. The rise and fall of dynasties, invasions, and external influences have tested the resilience of its people. Despite these trials, Tibet has remained steadfast, preserving its identity through the teachings of the Dharma. The Dalai Lama, the spiritual leader of Tibet, embodies this enduring spirit, carrying the message of peace and compassion to the world. Today, as we stand at the crossroads of past and present, the story of Tibetan history calls out to us, not as a tale of a distant land, but as a source of inspiration for our own lives. Its ancient scriptures remind us of the impermanence of all things, while its prayer wheels spin endlessly in devotion, symbolizing the unyielding faith of a people united by their spiritual quest. So, what can we learn from Tibet's journey? Perhaps it's a deeper connection to the sacred in our everyday lives, or a greater appreciation for the beauty of resilience and harmony. As we unravel the mysteries of this extraordinary civilization, we are reminded that Tibet's story is not just its own, it is a testament to the boundless potential of the human spirit. Join us as we continue to explore the rich tapestry of Tibetan history. Together, we will uncover the secrets, the struggles, and the triumphs of a land that has captured the hearts of so many across the globe. To truly understand Tibetan history, we must first look to the land itself, a vast and awe-inspiring plateau that seems to touch the heavens. Known as the roof of the world, Tibet is a place where nature's raw power meets profound serenity. Its towering peaks, endless plains, and shimmering lakes form not just a breathtaking landscape, but a spiritual sanctuary, shaping the lives and beliefs of its people for millennia. This harsh yet beautiful environment has always been more than a backdrop for Tibetan civilization. It is the cradle of a resilient people who have learned to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature. Ancient Tibetan texts speak of an early culture deeply connected to the earth and the skies, a connection reflected in their myths, rituals, and way of life. These stories tell of a divine bond between the land and its inhabitants, a bond that laid the foundation for a civilization unlike any other. Modern research sheds light on how this unique geography shaped the development of Tibetan society. In the early days, nomadic tribes roamed the vast grasslands, relying on the land's bounty for survival. These nomads, guided by the stars and the winds, were masters of adaptation, forging a way of life that thrived despite the extreme altitude and unforgiving conditions. Over time, these tribes began to settle, giving rise to villages and communities that would become the heartbeat of Tibetan culture. The environment was not merely a challenge to overcome, it was a sacred teacher, offering lessons of resilience, humility, and balance. The towering mountains, seen as sacred guardians, inspired reverence and awe, while the flowing rivers were seen as lifelines, carrying blessings to the people. This deep respect for nature became intertwined with the spiritual philosophy that would later define Tibetan Buddhism. As Buddhism spread across the plateau, it absorbed and elevated these ancient beliefs, creating a unique spiritual tradition rooted in compassion and mindfulness. The monasteries that began to rise were not just places of worship, but symbols of the harmonious relationship between humans and their environment. Each structure seemed to echo the mountains around it, as if designed to honor the very land on which it stood. Tibet's geography also influenced its spiritual practices. The high-altitude landscape demanded endurance and focus, qualities mirrored in the meditative practices and rituals that became central to Tibetan Buddhism. Pilgrimages to sacred sites, such as Mount Kailash and Lake Manasaravar, were journeys of both physical and spiritual transformation, emphasizing the interconnectedness of the land, the body, and the soul. Even today, this bond between Tibetans and their land remains unbroken. Prayer flags flutter in the wind, carrying hopes and blessings across the valleys. Monks and laypeople alike walk kora around sacred mountains, their footsteps a testament to their faith and connection to the earth. The landscape continues to inspire not only those who call Tibet home, but also those who visit, seeking to understand its profound mysteries. To explore Tibetan history is to recognize the inseparable link between the land and its people. It is to see how a harsh and unforgiving environment gave birth to a culture of resilience, wisdom, and spiritual depth. Tibet's story is one of harmony, a reminder that even in the most challenging conditions, beauty and meaning can flourish. As we delve deeper into the rich tapestry of Tibetan history, let us not forget the sacred role of this land, a land that has shaped not only the lives of its people, but also the spiritual teachings that have touched hearts around the world. In understanding the story of Tibet, we are reminded of our own connection to the earth and the profound lessons it has to offer. According to Tibetan mythology, the origins of their civilization are traced back to a divine union that goes beyond mere folklore. It embodies the very essence of Tibetan identity and spirituality. The tale speaks of a compassionate monkey, believed to be an emanation of Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva of infinite compassion, and a fierce rock demoness, representing the untamed and primal power of the natural world. Together, they gave birth to the first Tibetans, a lineage born of harmony between compassion and power, wisdom and strength. This myth is not just a story passed down through generations, it is a profound allegory that reflects the spiritual underpinnings of Tibetan culture. The monkey symbolizes the qualities of mindfulness and benevolence central to Buddhist teachings, while the rock demoness embodies the raw and unyielding force of nature, a reminder of the rugged, high-altitude land that Tibetans call home. Their union is a metaphor for balance, the merging of the spiritual and the material, the divine and the earthly. As we delve deeper into this myth, we begin to see how it mirrors the historical and spiritual evolution of Tibet. The story suggests more than a mythical origin. It reflects the blending of two powerful traditions, the indigenous Bon religion, deeply rooted in nature worship and shamanistic practices, and the transformative influence of Buddhism that arrived centuries later. This fusion created a spiritual and cultural framework that continues to shape Tibetan life to this day. Modern interpretations of the myth highlight its layers of meaning. Scholars suggest that the monkey and the rock demoness represent more than characters in a tale. They symbolize the merging of early Tibetan beliefs with the profound teachings of Buddhism. This synthesis created a unique spiritual tradition that places compassion and wisdom at its core, while honoring the primal forces of nature that shape Tibetan existence. These tales are preserved not just in scriptures, but also in the daily lives of the Tibetan people. They are echoed in the prayer flags, fluttering in the mountain winds, in the rhythmic chanting of mantras, and in the sacred art that adorns monasteries. They remind Tibetans of their sacred origins and the importance of living in harmony with both the spiritual and natural worlds. The legend also speaks to the resilience of the Tibetan spirit. Just as the monkey and the demoness overcame their differences to create life, so too have Tibetans endured centuries of challenges, blending strength and compassion to preserve their culture and beliefs. This duality is woven into the very fabric of Tibetan history, where the spiritual pursuit of enlightenment exists alongside the practical challenges of survival in one of the world's most unforgiving landscapes. As we explore the rich tapestry of Tibetan history, the story of the monkey and the rock demoness serves as a gateway to understanding the depth of its spiritual traditions. It reveals a civilization that has always sought to balance the forces within and around it, creating a culture of profound wisdom and unshakable resilience. This legend is more than an ancient tale. It is a reflection of the Tibetan soul, a reminder of the enduring power of harmony in a world often divided by conflict. Through this story, we gain a glimpse into the heart of Tibetan history, a history that invites us to embrace compassion, respect nature, and seek balance in our own lives. In understanding the union of the monkey and the demoness, we come closer to understanding Tibet itself, a land of spiritual depth, cultural richness, and timeless lessons for all humanity. History unveils a pivotal chapter in the story of Tibet, the rise of the Tibetan Empire in the 7th century, under the visionary leadership of King Songtsen Gampo. This era was not merely a period of conquest and consolidation. It was the dawn of a cultural and spiritual renaissance that would forever alter the course of Tibetan history. Songtsen Gampo's reign was marked by extraordinary ambition and wisdom. Through strategic alliances and decisive action, he unified warring tribes, bringing together a fragmented land under a single banner. His choice to establish Lhasa as the cultural and political center of the empire was a masterstroke, transforming it into a vibrant hub of governance, trade, and spirituality. Lhasa, often called the heart of Tibet, became the focal point of a civilization on the rise. But the true legacy of Songtsen Gampo lies not just in political unification, but in his embrace of a transformative philosophy, Buddhism. At the time, Buddhism was a foreign tradition, having originated in India and spread to neighboring regions. Yet, Songtsen Gampo recognized its profound potential to unite and elevate his people. Through his marriages to Princess Wenqing of China and Princess Brikuti of Nepal, he introduced Buddhism to Tibet, planting the seeds of a spiritual tradition that would come to define the nation. The adoption of Buddhism during this time was not without its challenges. Tibet had a rich indigenous spiritual tradition known as Bon, deeply tied to the land and its natural forces. Rather than erasing these ancient practices, Buddhism began to merge with them, creating a unique spiritual synthesis. This adaptability became a hallmark of Tibetan civilization, a testament to its ability to evolve while honoring its roots. The construction of Jokhang Temple in Lhasa, one of the first Buddhist temples in Tibet, symbolized this spiritual transformation. More than an architectural wonder, Jokhang became a sacred space where the teachings of the Buddha were preserved and practiced. Its golden roof and sacred statues stand as a testament to the faith and devotion of an empire in spiritual awakening. Under Songtsen Gampo's rule, Buddhism was not only a personal belief, but a tool for social and cultural development. The moral teachings of the Dharma inspired a new sense of unity and purpose, fostering compassion and ethical governance. Monasteries became centers of learning, where philosophy, art, medicine, and science flourished alongside spiritual practices. This era laid the groundwork for Tibet's future as a beacon of spiritual wisdom. As we reflect on this transformative period, we see how the introduction of Buddhism reshaped the Tibetan Empire. It was more than the adoption of a religion. It was the integration of a philosophy that touched every aspect of life, from governance to the arts, from education to daily rituals. The fusion of indigenous traditions with Buddhist teachings created a civilization deeply rooted in compassion, resilience, and spiritual growth. Songtsen Gampo's vision reminds us of the power of adaptability and the importance of embracing new ideas without losing sight of one's heritage. The Tibetan Empire's rise in the 7th century was not just a political triumph, but a spiritual awakening that continues to inspire and guide the Tibetan people to this day. This chapter in Tibetan history is a testament to the enduring strength of a civilization that has faced countless challenges, yet remains steadfast in its commitment to harmony and enlightenment. It invites us to consider how spiritual traditions can transform societies, offering lessons not just for Tibet, but for the world. Through understanding this story, we come closer to appreciating the depth and richness of Tibetan history, a history shaped by visionaries, guided by faith, and sustained by the unyielding spirit of its people. The arrival of Buddhism in Tibet marked more than a religious shift. It was the beginning of a profound cultural transformation that would reshape the very soul of the Tibetan people. What began as a foreign philosophy gradually became the cornerstone of Tibetan identity, influencing art, governance, education, and daily life. This monumental change, however, was neither simple nor immediate. It was a journey of integration, adaptation, and, at times, conflict. The story begins with the introduction of Buddhist teachings to Tibet during the reign of King Songtsen Gampo in the 7th century. His efforts to translate sacred Sanskrit texts laid the foundation for a new era of spiritual and intellectual growth. With the construction of Jokhang and Rinpoche temples, Tibetans began to embrace Buddhist philosophy as a guiding force in their lives. Yet, this transformation did not occur in a vacuum. It unfolded against the backdrop of a deeply rooted indigenous spiritual tradition known as Bon. Bon, the ancient belief system of Tibet, was deeply connected to nature, ancestral worship, and shamanistic practices. It had long been the spiritual backbone of Tibetan society, influencing everything from rituals to governance. The introduction of Buddhism inevitably created tensions. Some saw it as a threat to the old ways, while others viewed it as an opportunity for renewal and growth. This clash of traditions led to resistance, not only from Bon practitioners, but also within the royal court, where opinions on this new philosophy were divided. Early records tell of internal struggles, moments of resistance, and even suppression. Yet, over time, a remarkable process of synthesis began to unfold. Instead of erasing the indigenous Bon tradition, Buddhism absorbed and transformed it. Elements of Bon, such as the reverence for nature and the use of rituals, found their way into Tibetan Buddhist practices, creating a spiritual tradition unlike any other. This blending of philosophies was not merely a compromise, it was an act of harmony, a recognition of the wisdom inherent in both paths. The construction of monumental monasteries such as Samye, the first Buddhist monastery in Tibet, symbolized the integration of these traditions. Monasteries became more than places of worship. They were centers of learning, art, and community life. Within their walls, Tibetan monks worked tirelessly to translate and preserve Buddhist texts, ensuring that the teachings of the Buddha would flourish in their land. These translations not only brought spiritual guidance, but also enriched the Tibetan language and culture, shaping its literature, art, and philosophy. Despite these achievements, the journey was not without challenges. Dynastic disputes, political intrigues, and occasional backlash against Buddhist influences tested the resilience of this new cultural identity. Yet, through perseverance and wisdom, Tibetans found a way to balance these forces, creating a spiritual tradition that honored both the past and the present. Today, this unique blend of Buddhism and Bon continues to inspire. It serves as a testament to Tibet's ability to adapt, evolve, and find unity in diversity. the prayer wheels that spin in remote monasteries, the intricate mandalas created by devoted monks, and the sacred chants echoing across the Himalayas all tell the story of a culture that embraced transformation without losing its roots. Buddhism's arrival in Tibet was not just a moment in history, it was a turning point that shaped a civilization. It teaches us the power of integration, the importance of preserving tradition while embracing change, and the possibility of finding harmony even in the face of conflict. As we reflect on this chapter of Tibetan history, we are reminded of the profound lessons it offers, a legacy of wisdom, resilience, and compassion that continues to guide and inspire the world. Tibetan civilization stands as a beacon of artistic brilliance and spiritual depth, where creativity and faith intertwine to form an extraordinary cultural legacy. From the vibrant hues of Thangka paintings that depict cosmic tales to the majestic silhouette of the Potala Palace rising against the Himalayan skyline, Tibetan art and architecture are profound expressions of devotion, ingenuity, and identity. They are not merely objects of beauty, they are living testaments to a civilization shaped by spiritual aspirations and historical struggles. Thangka paintings, with their intricate detail and vivid colors, are among Tibet's most iconic art forms. These sacred scrolls are far more than decorative pieces. They are visual scriptures, guiding practitioners on their spiritual journey. Each Thangka tells a story, a deity surrounded by celestial realms, the life of the Buddha, or the wheel of life illustrating samsara. The creation of a Thangka is itself a spiritual act, requiring meditation, precision, and a deep understanding of Buddhist philosophy. For centuries, these paintings have served as teaching tools, meditation aids, and vessels of blessings, bridging the gap between the earthly and the divine. Equally captivating is Tibet's architectural heritage, crowned by the Potala Palace in Lhasa. Once the winter residence of the Dalai Lama, this towering structure is a masterpiece of spiritual and engineering brilliance. Built on Red Hill, the palace embodies the union of the earthly and the heavenly, with its white and red walls symbolizing purity and power. Inside, its halls are adorned with golden stupas, intricate murals, and countless relics, each telling the story of Tibet's spiritual and political evolution. Beyond the grandeur of the Potala, monasteries like Jokhang and Samye reflect the resilience and creativity of Tibetan society. Jokhang Temple, considered the holiest site in Tibetan Buddhism, radiates spiritual energy that draws pilgrims from across the world. Its design harmonizes Indian, Nepalese, and Tibetan architectural styles, symbolizing Tibet's openness to external influences while preserving its unique identity. Tibetan art and architecture also reveal the challenges faced by this remarkable civilization. The blending of indigenous Bon traditions with Buddhist motifs, the influence of neighboring cultures, and the resilience shown in the face of invasions and political upheaval are all etched into these cultural treasures. Each brushstroke, carved figure, and architectural detail tells a story of adaptation, perseverance, and unwavering faith. Even the smallest details, prayer wheels inscribed with mantras, stupas dotting mountain passes, or sand mandalas painstakingly crafted by monks, carry profound spiritual meaning. These creations are more than expressions of devotion. They are acts of mindfulness, embodying the impermanence and interconnectedness central to Tibetan Buddhism. Yet, Tibetan art is not static. It evolves while remaining rooted in tradition. Contemporary artists draw inspiration from ancient forms, reinterpreting them to address modern challenges and share Tibet's story with the world. This dynamic interplay between past and present ensures that Tibetan culture continues to thrive, offering inspiration to future generations. To examine these cultural treasures is to delve into the soul of Tibet, a civilization that has turned its struggles into strength and its faith into timeless masterpieces. These works of art and architecture remind us of the boundless creativity that arises from a life centered on spiritual purpose. They invite us to see beyond the material, to feel the devotion and wisdom that resonate through the centuries. As we uncover the legacy of Tibetan history, we are reminded that these cultural treasures are not relics of a bygone era. They are vibrant, living expressions of a people's enduring spirit, a spirit that continues to inspire, guide, and connect us to something greater than ourselves. Through their beauty, we glimpse the heart of Tibet, a civilization that has shown the world the power of creativity and faith to transcend time. Tibet's history is, at its core, a story of resilience, a testament to the enduring spirit of a people who have faced countless challenges and emerged with their identity intact. Nestled high in the Himalayas, the Tibetan plateau has always presented its inhabitants with formidable natural hardships, harsh winters, thin air, and unforgiving terrain. Yet, these very challenges have forged a community rooted in strength, adaptability, and an unwavering sense of purpose. Over the centuries, Tibet has weathered invasions, political upheavals, and periods of isolation. From the rise and fall of dynasties to the pressures of external forces, the Tibetan people have stood firm, preserving their culture, traditions, and spiritual essence. This resilience is not just a reflection of survival, it is a testament to the power of faith and unity in the face of adversity. Central to Tibet's endurance is its spiritual foundation. Buddhism, which became the heart of Tibetan culture, has provided the moral compass and inner strength to navigate even the most challenging times. The teachings of compassion, mindfulness, and impermanence have not only shaped individual lives, but also guided the community as a whole. Monasteries became sanctuaries of learning and hope, while rituals and practices connected generations to a shared purpose. In times of trial, these spiritual roots offered solace and the resolve to endure. Yet Tibet's resilience is not merely about looking inward. The Tibetan people have shown an extraordinary ability to adapt and evolve while staying true to their heritage. For instance, the blending of indigenous Bon traditions with Buddhist teachings created a spiritual practice that reflects the richness of Tibet's cultural history. Even in the face of external influences, Tibet has maintained its distinct voice, harmonizing change with continuity. Today, modernization and globalization present new challenges for Tibet. The influx of modern technologies, economic development, and shifting social norms threaten to erode traditional practices and values. The younger generation faces the dilemma of balancing the opportunities of a globalized world with the need to preserve their cultural identity. It is a delicate dance, one that requires both courage and wisdom. How can Tibet preserve its unique identity while embracing the realities of a changing world? The answer lies in the very resilience that has defined its history. By nurturing its cultural and spiritual heritage, Tibet can serve as a beacon for the rest of the world, showing how tradition and progress can coexist. Initiatives to document oral histories, preserve sacred texts, and teach traditional arts ensure that the wisdom of the past is not lost, but continues to inspire future generations. Tibet's resilience offers timeless lessons for humanity. In a world that often prioritizes rapid change and material gain, the Tibetan way reminds us of the importance of balance, mindfulness, and connection to one's roots. The prayer flags fluttering in the mountain winds, the pilgrims walking kora around sacred sites, and the monks dedicating their lives to meditation are all symbols of a culture that understands the value of enduring truths in an impermanent world. As we reflect on Tibet's story, we are reminded that resilience is not just about survival, it is about thriving in harmony with one's values. Tibet's ability to carry forward its traditions while adapting to the demands of the modern era is a powerful example of how we can navigate our own challenges. It is a story of hope, strength, and faith that resonates far beyond the borders of the plateau. In the face of adversity, Tibet continues to shine as a testament to the enduring power of cultural preservation and spiritual strength. Its resilience is not just its own, it is a gift to humanity, reminding us all of the beauty that can emerge when we honor our roots while embracing the future. As we bring this journey through the ancient origins of Tibetan civilization to a close, one profound truth emerges. Tibet is not merely a place. It is an enduring idea. It is a testament to humanity's capacity for resilience, creativity, and an unbreakable connection to the sacred. It stands as a beacon of spiritual depth and cultural richness, reminding us of the extraordinary potential that lies within us all. Tibet's story is one of harmony between people and nature, tradition and transformation, adversity and hope. Its towering mountains and sweeping valleys hold more than natural beauty. They are the silent witnesses to centuries of struggle and triumph. The history of Tibet is not just a chronicle of a distant land. It is a mirror reflecting universal truths. It speaks to the power of faith in the face of challenges, the importance of preserving heritage, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The tales of Tibet's past, its myths of divine origins, the rise of its empire, the integration of Buddhism, and its artistic and spiritual achievements are more than stories. They are lessons that resonate far beyond the borders of the plateau. They teach us to seek balance, to honor our roots, and to embrace the challenges of change without losing sight of who we are. As we reflect on this incredible civilization, we are reminded that Tibet's legacy is not frozen in time. It continues to inspire, adapt, and evolve. The people of Tibet carry forward traditions that have withstood the test of time, sharing their wisdom with a world that so often yearns for meaning and connection. Their resilience and devotion serve as a guiding light, showing us that even in the face of uncertainty, it is possible to live with purpose and grace. We hope this journey through Tibetan history has deepened your understanding of this extraordinary land and its profound cultural and spiritual contributions. It is a story that invites us all to reflect on our own lives, on what we value, what we strive for, and how we connect with the world around us. Thank you for joining us on this exploration into the heart of Tibet. If you found inspiration in these stories, we invite you to continue the journey with us. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more explorations into the rich tapestry of history, culture, and spirituality. Let us keep the conversation alive, sharing ideas and insights that bring us closer to the universal truths we all seek. Until we meet again, may you stay curious, stay inspired, and carry forward the timeless lessons of resilience, compassion, and creativity. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next chapter of discovery.